the second plenary session of the third Dharma Dhamma conference. The first speaker of this session is His Holiness Joseph Marthoma Metropolitan.
Therefore, for a successful life, to have the welfare of the humanity, the religions must come to an agreement which I believe will be the God's desire. Accept the things which we can accept. Many things when we think, sit together, we can identify. Many things we can accept. And there are many things we will differ also. That is also reality. Respect it. Not preach the hate message. You have no right to hate anybody, but respect anybody. Even though you are not able to accept them, and it is a reality that you differ with them. So that is actually the thing. When we maintain the right relationship with our Creator and express our unity as same bone and flesh, then the diversity can be a beauty in mankind experience. And I think modern time, the global ecumenism, this kind of consultations coming together, even within the religious denominations and also between the religions, will take us to that beautiful experience of mankind where everyone enjoy the rights and the freedom, the rights and the privilege and the freedom that God has given. And we may be able to maintain our right relationship with our Creator in the days to come. I thank the organizers of this conference, that this trend may continue to make it real, the dream of our father of the nation, Gandhiji. Jai Hind.
Thank you, His Holiness, for your inspirational words. Our next speaker for the session is Sri Hari Prasad Swami. स्वामी जी से अनुरोध है कि वो अपने विचार हमारे साथ साझा करें.
Self promotion in a nice way. It is, we are packing it in a very nice package to show people that we are not doing it for ourselves. We say our religion is better than their religion. Why? It's an extension of the ego. It's nothing but egoism. It's nothing but egoism. And we must change that by looking at ourselves. Human beings always act with the idea of I and mine. So we must look at our actions and think, why is it one looks down upon another community, one looks down, disapproves of what another community is doing, one doesn't understand that. Why is that? That is because we have to look at that with two ways. One is with Vairagya, looking at it, seeing the real reality. Why is it that they are doing it? With understanding, looking at things with the eye of understanding. And that is something which is very difficult, because one looks at things instinctually, one looks at things with the background of our environment. We mustn't do that. And how is it that we have to look at it with Vairagya, moving ourselves away from who we are, what we are, but moving ourselves towards the goal of detachment. And that has to be, it does not come in a day, it will not come in a day. We have to do it again and again. We have to make attempts, we will fall. We have to make attempts, we will fall. And when we do this, gradually it will become easier. And then we get transformed individually. When we get transformed individually, we become a beacon to people around us. And then they also strive for that. When they strive for that, then a portion of the community changes. When a portion of the community changes, that becomes a light to the rest of the community. And there's a slow but permanent transformation. It is because of this that all religions have a place in India. All religions, when the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, the Jews came to India for refuge. When Persia was invaded, the Parsis came to India. All sects have a place in India. It's because India has always understood that in whichever way men walk, it is the right way, it is God's way. So I pray that with the blessings of God, Sri Bhagavan, and my Guru's blessings, we will walk in that divine path.
Thank you, Swamiji. Our next speaker of this session is Dr. Shailesh Mehta.
Duryodhan smartly said to the Krishna, Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. I know what all I should be doing, but I cannot do it. And I know what I should not be doing, but I cannot do it. Is it not somewhat the situation of all of us, what we are hearing? We know that we should be doing, but can we? So here is some deeper science, that can I change the seed, fruit, or should I change the seed? Can I change the effect, or do I need to change the cause? What's your answer? The thing which is not easily attainable is not scientific. The science says I need to change the cause or seed, I cannot change the effect or fruit. And here my present personality or present behavior is a pre-programmed thing. It's a fruit or a result or an effect based on my previous projections or beliefs. What I can change is my present understanding. Based on that, my present decisions and results will be changed, and putting into practice, behavior will result in the future. So holistic inner science doesn't ask you to change your behavior forcibly, but it changes the understanding with the mindful living or awareness, and the behavior will result. So circle and center also, Suresh Bhayaji mentioned yesterday that each radius feels that I'm different if we put religions, but one who is in a center can enlighten all the radius. So enlightened ones are in the center. They know and can throw the light on all religions which are correct. All religions are correct but not the same. Why? Because there are all classes from kindergarten to master's degree. All are correct for their respective students, not the same. And relative pluralism, none of the viewpoints should be heard. And in a summary, holistic science understanding or vision can show us the common thread. I owe this to holistic scientists. One is lovingly known as Dada Bhagwan, but one who is seen in the photograph is A.M. Patel, and one who was manifest within as the knowing and seeing light, which is in every one of us in the latent and potent form, is really the form of Dada Bhagwan. And second is Kanadaji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mehta, for talking about what is often referred to as the bane of modern existence, stress. Our next speaker for the session is Dr. A.K. Merchant. I invite Dr. Merchant to share his thoughts with us.
For us, it is the family principles that need to be first put in place. If in a family, members of the family understand each member's role and respect and treat each other with dignity, regardless of gender, then that becomes the starting point. The children in the home. But unfortunately, today, the way our children are being bombarded by various forms of mass media, if you expose your children to trashy literature, to television channels which are downright degrading and debasing, or you allow them to engage in activities where inequalities are propagated, then obviously you can't have a society that will be able to appreciate and treat with justice and fairness its other half, the better half. So I believe at the end that this issue of gender equality is rooted deeply in our human condition. And if we reflect on this, then the learnings that are occurring at this conference and many other social spaces will help to fuel new policies, bring about new legislations, because at the end of the day, it is the conditions in the home that extends into the society, that extends to the nation state, and that extends into the whole world. So for me, like the two wings of the bird, men and women, they are both integral and their strength has to be equal for the bird of humanity to soar to the apex of prosperity and well-being. With these words, I once again thank all of you for your patient listening. And I believe that the teachings of Baha'u'llah, that men and women in the sight of the divine have always been reckoned to be equal, like the two wings of the bird, will surely help us appreciate and reflect in our lives to bring in those necessary changes which will help us to take society to a new level in its evolution and attain that collective maturity which is its birthright at this point of time in history. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Merchant, for talking about the urgent need to examine the issue of gender equality and also for talking about the issues throughout and championing the cause of women throughout your speech. Thank you so much. It is time now for remarks by Chair. May I now invite Professor Sun Kyon Kim from Dongguk University, South Korea, to give his concluding remarks for this session.
Namaskar. First of all, I'm thankful to an invitation for Third International Dhamma Conference on Harmony of Religion at Indore, Madhya Pradesh. I would like to pray as follows. We can see self-nature and realize nirvana from samsara by means of removing avidya or fundamental ignorance through this conference. Dhanyavad.